Do you want to know what is the difference between action verbs and stative verbs? Then this video is for you. Stay with us. So, as I said before, in this video we are going to talk about what are action verbs and what are stative verbs. So, first of all, let's see what is a verb. Right? What is a verb? A verb tells us what someone or something does. So, let's see some verbs. Jumped, things, danced, run, write, read. Likewise, there are thousands of verbs in English language. Do you know that in English language we can't write or tell an English sentence without a verb? Because without a verb, an English sentence is not correct. So we should use a verb in an English sentence. So we can consider these verbs as the engine of the language. So like these verbs are very important in English language. Do you want to know what are the types of verbs in English language? Let's go to see some. Action verbs, linking verbs, helping verbs, that means auxiliary verbs, modal verbs, transitive, intransitive verbs, stative verbs, regular, irregular verbs, and also phrasal verbs. These are the types of verbs in English language. Among these types, today you are going to learn what are action verbs and what are stative verbs. So let's see what are action verbs in English language. Right? Action verbs are words that show the physical or mental actions a subject performs. We know that in an English sentence there is a subject. Subject means the person or thing that performs an action. Let's see some examples for these action verbs. Eat, jump, run, drink, go. Likewise, there are thousands of action verbs in this language. Right? You know that we can use these action verbs in all tenses. For example, I eat rice every day. In this sentence, the verb eat has been used in the simple present tense. Next example, I am eating rice now. We can see that in this sentence, we have used the verb eating in the present continuous tense. And also when we see the next example, I ate rice yesterday. This is a simple past tense. So we have used the verb ate in the form of simple past, in the tense of simple past. Right, like this we can use these action verbs in all the tenses. Now you know what are action verbs. Then let's go to see what are stative verbs. Stative verbs describe states, conditions or opinions rather than physical actions. So we can't see a physical action in these stative verbs. We can consider the words that we use to express thoughts and opinions as stative verbs. For examples, agree, believe, doubt, guess, imagine, know, mean. Likewise, there are many stative verbs that we can use to express our thoughts and opinions. We can't see an action within these verbs. We can't see a clear action in these verbs. Right? Next category is emotions and feelings. The words that we use to express our emotions and feelings are also stative verbs, right? For examples, dislike, hate, like, love, prefer, likewise. These are also can be considered as stative verbs. Next, senses and perceptions. The words that we can use to express our senses, that we can use to talk about our senses are called stative verbs, right? Appear, feel, hear, look, see, seem. Next, the words related to perform our possessions are also called as stative verbs, right? For examples, belong, have, own, possess. These are also stative verbs, right? Measurements and other status. We can express about measurements and other status using stative verbs. For example, be, cause, depend, deserve, fit, matter, likewise. There are many stative verbs like this, right? Can you remember when we are talking about action verbs in this video? I said that we can use action verbs in all the tenses. But in the case of stative verbs, we cannot use these stative verbs in all the tenses. We can't use these stative verbs in continuous form. So, a main difference between these action verbs and stative verbs is we can use action verbs in all the tenses, but we cannot use stative verbs in the continuous tense. Right? Look at these examples. I'm not knowing the answer. Like this, you cannot use the stative verb know in the continuous form as knowing. Right? Next example. She's really liking you. Like is also a stative verb. So you can't use that stative verb in the form of continuous, in the tense of continuous. Right? He is seeming happy at the moment. Seem is also considered as a stative verb. So you can't use that stative verb in the continuous tense. Right? If we see a summary between these action verbs and stative verbs, action verbs describe action performed by a person or a thing. But stative verbs describe a state or condition. We can use these action verbs in all the tenses, but we cannot use stative verbs in the continuous tense. Some examples for action verbs are run, jump, write, read. Some examples for stative verbs are have, know, think, happy. So these are the things we can speak about action verbs and stative verbs. I think that now you know what is the difference between action verbs and stative verbs, and also hope that you can use these action verbs and stative verbs correctly in sentences. If this video helpful for you, please like us, share us, and don't forget to subscribe us. Goodbye.